Hey YouTube, another video today, as we always do. And as my job as a content creator giving you guys videos, it's important for me to give you the stuff you want to watch. And what you want to watch right now is Zen, because Zen has the most hype that any player has had in a long time, and definitely ever during my content creation years. But can we just make videos about Zen constantly? No. Over the past two EU regionals, we did make videos covering Zen's performance after the wins by Vitality, but both times we said that the best player on the team was not him. Last week, it was agreed upon that it was Alpha 54, and this week, we believe it was Redosin. So why were both the videos about Zen? Well, there's a ton of reasons why, and of course we've went through them, how Zen is the X Factor and this team wasn't winning before him. But it's still important to point out that Zen has some solid teammates, and that specifically they have shown a lot with him on the team. So we're going to go ahead and watch Redosin today. I picked out a couple different games played by Redosin, including this one that has maybe shot of the weekend. If it weren't for the fact that Zen had that nasty redirect that we saw before, then maybe this one would be considered number one. But I mean, Zen's just unbelievable. Something that you haven't really seen before, whereas as cool as Redosin's shot is, it's probably something you've seen here or there. So we're going to go just watch through Redosin's eyes, see what is the best player on the best team doing in decision making and gameplay. And so far, what he's done well is he's allowed his teammates to score the first goal. Zen and Alpha 54, I think it was mostly Alpha, who was 50ing with a team member on KC in order to slot the first goal. And now their team up one. All the games against KC, as I talked about previously, were nail-biters for the most part, except for this one. And this actually comes in the series that they did lose. They lost this series against KC, but this is actually game one of that series, in which it looked like Vitality was going to keep doing what they've done before. They fully swept KC in the round before, and were they about to do it again? It seemed like maybe they were, until of course the rest of the series played out. But let's go ahead and continue to watch from Redosin POV. Redosin taken off the map as he tries to beat Itachi out to this ball. Alpha 54 up to challenge, something that this team does well, and you'll see Redosin doing it a lot. When somebody needs to put pressure on the ball, they're not afraid to attack and miss if they have to. Really great save by, I believe it was maybe Zen or Alpha there. Right now, Vitality on defense. Nice win by Zen. Redosin, he is a menace when he has the ball in the air. One of the best strikers in the game right now, and you cannot leave him alone with it. You'll see a lot of people pre-jumping Zen. This is a great setup by his teammates to help him finish this one. But people need to start pre-jumping Redosin as well, otherwise he's going to continue to put these kind of clips on your team. 2-0 for Vitality with a minute 42 left to go. A rare double-digit lead against what was maybe previously the best team in EU. Not a lot of pressure put on right now, actually. Seemed like Zen and Redosin couldn't decide who was supposed to be challenging there. Zen did a little passive pre-jump, but probably not as much as you need to put on a team like KC. Tira, though, also been very scary on offense. Redosin, not a lot of boost to work with, but actually gets a great shot out of this and forces Itachi back to make the save. Wall dashing is Redosin to save his 60 boost. What's he going to be able to do with that extra boost saved? Right now, last back notices that he could try and stop Fatira. It's actually a great touch to not get beat. He goes high in order to prevent Fatira from being able to clear it high, so he forces Fatira down to the ground. In general, teams are going to want to try and clear ceiling height to go cross field, but that was also almost a nasty pinch. But Redosin covered that and got back down to the ground to still hit as that first man. Obviously, ideally, you hit every time as a first man, but often people will just accept that you make the player make an outplay to a certain direction and into your teammate's hands. Redosin doing more than just that. Not just settling for challenging high, found a way to get low. And with 15 seconds left on the clock, you might have remembered that I said Radosin hit a nasty shot. Well, here it is off the ceiling. The double, just absolutely filthy. We're going to let you guys watch it again because you deserve to watch it again. Zen just a 50 in the corner, and Radosin, he didn't have a lot of time to realize how to set this one up, but apparently he didn't need it as he slams on, like I said, what would have been the best goal, and maybe still is. You know, you could argue that it still is the best goal, but certainly the most unique goal that we saw was that Zen redirect. But 3-0 over KC, you'd think Vitality was on track to just slam KC down, but they actually did end up losing this series. So we're going to go grab a game from the next series that they played from Radosin POV. Game 5 in the second series against KC. Tied 2-2. Been quite the sweat fest so far as we enter this game. A lot of people are talking about Zen to be almost contrarian, saying that Radosin and Alpha 54 have carried him through these last two regionals. And while I do ultimately want to make this video about Radosin, and it is, I just hope that you can see, even when we're watching from other players' perspectives, the effect that Zen has. Certainly not a carry job, but important to note that these guys have been playing very well. Radosin allowed to go and get this challenge by Exotic. I don't know if Exotic was low, but he had a lot of separation. Radosin actually seemed to be boost saving, not expecting to have to challenge. This time, Radosin goes high in order to force it down low to a teammate. It doesn't work out. You'll see at least a couple different scenarios where Radosin does this, maybe in other games when I was looking through them, where he goes up to challenge first, forces the ball down to the ground by going high, and then his teammates waiting on the ground, available to get that save. This time, he's not going to be terribly involved as Vitality turn in for a goal. There's also a good amount of kickoff strategies. You know, we talked about the kickoff strategies and how Zen and Feer weren't big fans of them when they were playing twos. But we actually saw, or I should say I saw a good amount of these. Maybe in replays I didn't end up deciding to use, but a lot of cheating and intentional losses, even at the midfield. You know, you see a lot of intentional losses into the back corner. Every team is doing that on occasion, but a lot of cheat-ups by this team and trying to lose it immediately right to that second player. You'll see Rule 1 and Falcons do a lot of really hard wins. I say wins because they push it even more off to the side to cheaters who are like almost near the midfield boost. Not quite that is what Vitality's doing. They've been doing these losses slightly back. Zen is going to get pre-jumped by Exotic, and Radosin is around to drop the ball in. I believe Exotic was expecting the most from Zen, but Radosin is the kind of guy who has always been able to capitalize on these kind of situations. 2-1 lead now for Vitality in a crucial game. Radosin also rocking the unique presets with the slime boost and the shark trail. I don't know if anybody knows if he's actually using this. I'd be curious to know. I would expect him to. I think he is, but a lot of pros do put on some silly stuff and then Bacchus mod it out. Radosin deciding to try and turn with zero boost. Doesn't want to let KC get anything started, and with his teammates rotating back, knows that he's in the best position. See him gravitating away from Zen here. Something that Alpha 54 and Zen did not do, and we should credit Radosin at MIG time, because watching it live, we watched a ton of it over the weekend. There were a lot of times that Zen and Alpha 54 found themselves in the same place. You know, enough that it was something to note that maybe they need to work on. But Radosin didn't ever seem to be involved in those double commit plays, and a lot of that has to do with him. You know, it takes two to double, and Radosin never did it. So you have to imagine he had the correct rotations on. That was quite a crazy challenge, as he was expecting the ball to go high. But you see that a lot in the RLCS now. The ceiling is almost the most dangerous position that these players are afraid of, and instead of trying to reposition on the ground to be in the right spot, you'll see these massive pre-jumps before plays even start in order to force players back down to the ground, because attacking through the air as Radosin tries to do an air dribble bump is almost the easier way to score now because players are so effective there. Instead, defenders are trying to force players back down to the ground where they have awaiting help. Right now, Radosin sees the danger of the Itachi high dribble and floats in his airspace in order to clear it away. Radosin going to take this one away from Zen, as he believes Zen doesn't have the boost to kind of continue that play. Radosin, great recognition right here that both Alpha and Zen are back in the corner, and that rotating around to help is not really going to be worth it. Adding another body to the mix might even just throw off the rotation. So what can he do to help his team? Well, what he can do is he can turn around and just start demoing the offense. If the offense can't shoot because they don't exist on the field, then that is certainly going to help this team. And then he's able to win a nice 50 to put on a third goal. So 3-1 with 30 seconds left to go. Trying to give his team the edge. A rare 2-goal lead in a battle of EU Titans. Zen clears off the backboard. Radosin looking for a nutty angle. He's capable of hitting these, but not able to hit it this time. As Exotic and Patira try and chase the other way. Radosin able to get back. As Zen bought him a bit of time with the first save, and he will tap the ball down over to KC's half for a 3-1. So Radosin finishing with 2 goals in this game, 6 shots, and the MVP of the weekend. So credit to Radosin, and certainly the biggest risks taken in car designs as well, which you love to see. Otherwise, we're going to be staring at cars like this for the rest of our lives. Come on, Exotic. Certainly you could be more creative than this. Credit to Radosin. Radosin outshining Zen this time around. Alpha 54 outshining him this time. But there's no question that this team as a whole is a winning team.